Hello, and welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast with Trisha and Michelle. We're just two friends reading through the Bible chronologically and encouraging you to do the same. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Daily Bible Podcast, or go to our website, dailybiblepodcast.net. We are going through the 1-year chronological Bible, and we will have links for that in our show notes and also at our website.
And if you're on Facebook, make sure to check out our community group. Just look for a Daily Bible Podcast under groups, and we would love to have you join us.
Yes, most definitely. And, I just got to say thank you all for not only listening, but just continuing to read the
Mm-hmm.
Bible, because reading the Bible in a year isn't the easiest thing to do. Some of us want to figure other things that we're like, hey, this doesn't make sense. So we want to dig deeper. Others wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't feel like it today. And so just thank you. Thank you for continuing to do the hard work in reading through the Bible. Okay, so today, here's what we read. We read 2 Kings 1 and 2 Kings 3, 1 Kings 22, verses 41 through 49, 2 Chronicles 20, verses 31 through 37, 1 Kings 22, verse 50, 2 Chronicles 21, verses 1 through 4, 2 Kings 8, verses 16 through 22, and 2 Chronicles 21, verses 5 through 7. It was a lot,
It was a lot.
but it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I mean, once we get through it, it's good. And I'm once I finish a day, I'm always so glad that I sat there and didn't open my phone and played a
Yeah.
game, didn't grab a book or didn't wander off, but sat there and read. And so today we all know that the reign of Ahab was a spiritual disaster for the northern kingdom, but it was a time of political security and economic prosperity.
Hmm.
So God was doing something. I mean, we know that that was God blessing the
Yeah.
nation. Even though Ahab was who he was, God was still blessing the nation. And after his death, the kingdom of Moab found a good opportunity to remove their nation from the domination of Israel. And then Ahaziah, Israel's new king, he fell at the palace. Not too long after he became king, he fell at the palace. And so, even in our translation, it says lattice work. Well, it
Mm-hmm.
actually means that he fell like at least a story.
Wow.
So, like out either off a balcony or something, or down a flight of stairs, but he fell like a story. So that's
That's a
some
big fall.
good. Yeah, that's what, 8 feet, at least 8 feet, if not more than that. It's
That's
a
not
pretty.
tripping on the sidewalk. That is a fall.
No. No, it is a fall. And so he was seriously injured, and so he asks Baal-zebub Baal-zebub. So he asks Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, if he would recover. And the God of Israel says, yeah, right.
What are you doing?
And so he sends Elijah to Ahaziah. And so he sends Elijah to Ahaziah's messenger to ask why Ahaziah didn't send for the God of Israel, because
Mm-hmm.
he's right here. He never left.
Yeah.
He's right here. And because Ahaziah did this, he'll never leave his bed. So the messengers deliver this grave message to the king, and he wants to know who said this. And of course, then he guesses Elijah,
Yeah.
and Ahaziah is ticked. And the text lets us know. Then he sent an army captain with 50 soldiers to arrest him, and they found him sitting on top of a hill. The captain said to Elijah, "Man of God, the king has commanded you come down with us." But Elijah replied to the captain, "If I'm a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and destroy you and your 50 men." And then fire fell down from heaven and killed them all. So the king sent another captain with 50 men. And the captain said to him, "Man of God, the king demands that you come down at once." And Elijah replies, "If I'm a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and destroy you and your 50 men." And again, the fire of God fell from heaven and killed them all. Once more, the king sent a third captain with 50 men, but this time the captain went up to the hill and fell on his knees before Elijah, and he pleaded with him, "O man of God, please spare my life and the lives of these your 50 servants. See how the fire from heaven came down and destroyed the first two groups. But now please spare my
Mm.
life." And his life is spared. It's the miracles in these stories with Elijah and Elisha
There's a lot
have
of
just
fire shooting from heaven.
there is a lot of fire shooting from heaven, and it is just I just sit here and I'm just like, "This is so, so cool," because this man, he realized, like, Elijah really is a man of God, and, like, God is real, and so God spares this man's life, but Elijah stuck to the words of the living God, because that's who we know
Mhm.
Elijah to do, and, Ahaziah died just as the Lord had promised. Ahaziah had no sons, so his brother Joram became the next king. He too was evil and led the people of Israel to commit more sins against God. So
Mhm.
next we have another war, and we see King Joram and King Jehoshaphat link arms and form an alliance against King Misha of Moab. Okay, so here's the thing. We King Joram, we already know, did evil. King Jehoshaphat did not do evil, but they're
Right.
linking arms.
Why is he doing that?
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, Israel gets scared. They are without water and they send for Elisha. And Elisha comes, but tells them to consult with a pagan god. Like, come on, you've consulted with pagans before, so why not again?
Mhm.
But they beg him, and he stays and tells them that God will bring them water and he will defeat these enemies. Of course, there is this little caveat to destroy everything. And we've seen this time and time again that God's like,
Mhm.
I will give you this victory, but you have to destroy everything. So then we see that there is a miracle with water, and then a miracle when the enemy armies are sent into confusion with a mirage of blood that they thought that they saw. And because of the confusion, Israel was able to attack them and chase them into the land of Moab, destroying everything as they went. And there, of course, was great anger against Israel, which, of course, there would be because
Yeah.
they were made fools.
Yeah, exactly. And so it is just amazing how you mentioned that Jehoshaphat was doing the things right. He says Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, did what was right in the sight of the Lord, just like his father Asa, but he didn't do it all the way. Okay, he didn't remove the high places, and the people continued to worship there. It says the high places, however, were not removed, and the people still had their hearts set on the God of their ancestors, or had not set their hearts on the God of the ancestors. So, he did what was right, but not all the way. He removed the male cult prostitutes from the land, and he made peace with the king of Israel, but that part wasn't approved by God, like we mentioned. It talks about in these other chapters that these two kings of Israel and Judah, then tried to send ships to Tarshish for gold, but then the ships were wrecked. So they're trying to like
Mhm.
come together, but not in the right way. So in Joram's fifth year of the reign as king of Israel, Jehoshaphat's son Jehoram began his reign over Judah, and Jehoshaphat was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. And Jehoram's, so this is his son. There's lots of sons of Jehoshaphat. They were given gifts of fortified cities in Judah, but Jehoram was given the kingdom because he was the firstborn. Yet he followed in the wicked ways because he
Mm.
married Ahab's daughter. So there's again more union between this really bad Israel's being really bad now, and Judah keeps connecting themselves with them. Jehoram established himself firmly over his father's kingdom by killing all his brothers and
Mm.
some of the officials of Israel. And it says he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and he led Judah astray. He was attacked by the Edomites, and despite his wickedness, God refrained from destroying Judah because of his covenant with David. And I love this. It said, because of the covenant the Lord had made with David, the Lord was not willing to destroy the house of David. He had promised to maintain a lamp for him and his descendants forever. And of course, we know that Jesus is from that line. And I love that lamp. We will maintain a lamp for him. And Jesus called himself the light of the world. So God's faithfulness is the only reason why this king wasn't completely wiped out, too.
God's faithfulness and his extreme mercy. I'm just
Mhm.
seeing his mercy and it just continue on. And of course, as we continue reading through the Old Testament, we're going to be like, oh my goodness, the God of mercy, like the
Mhm.
merciful God of all. But it's just it's it's really something to behold,
Mhm.
to see a nation, God's nation, continue to ignore him, and yet he continuing to say, I'll give you one more chance, or it's okay.
I'm gonna
You
do this for
might
this.
not be
Yeah.
looking at me now, but I'm going to
Yeah.
give you riches in gold. It's just, you just sit there and you know that God is writing a bigger, bigger, bigger
Mhm.
story. And he's saying, no, I'm not going to wipe you out because you are my people. And so I'm going to continue wooing you and bringing you back.
Yeah.
And it is something to behold.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to take a break here. We need to hear from our sponsor, but when we come back, we'll have the word of the day. Stay tuned. Okay, so the word of the day that I chose today was a destroy.
Mhm.
And we have seen time and time again where God tells his people, like when they were conquering, when, in Joshua, all throughout Joshua, when he would go and conquer, God be like, you destroy everything. I don't want anything left. And we saw that throughout David's reign. We saw what happened to Saul when he didn't
Mhm.
destroy everything. And so anyway, we're seeing that again. Of course, it's going to continue on, but we're seeing that in the kings where God is saying destroy, and the kings might destroy everything in battle, but they're not destroying the pagan worship. They're
Mhm.
not destroying the things that are causing the people to stumble and forget God. But what we did see here today was in the text, the army of Israel chased them into the land of Moab, destroying everything as they went. And God did say,
Mhm.
destroy. And so they destroyed everything as they went. They destroyed the towns, covered the good land with stones, stopped up the springs, and cut down all the good trees. They destroyed everything. And it really gave me pause as I'm reading this because I know that they didn't do it totally out of a whole heart that
Mhm.
was before God and serving God, but they did obey him. And it really made me just sit and ponder, do I destroy the sin that is in my life? Like totally wipe it out and not leave anything alive? Because even a little weed can grow under the surface and
Mhm.
spread. If you're a gardener, you understand that. If you live in a section of the country filled with vines, you understand that even better. So, when I was in Southwest Michigan for 2 years, on my property, there were vines everywhere
Mm.
everywhere. And the first year, I took to the fences and I got all those vines off the fences. There was poison ivy, there was
Mm.
English ivy, there was all kinds of vines. And the vines kept coming back throughout the summer. And I had to continually be vigilant of cutting those things down and getting rid of them. Well, then I started noticing how my lawn was receding because of the vine and how they were growing underneath the lawn. And
Oh.
then there were times that I would go to mow my lawn or whatever, and there would just be this one vine poking up. And
They're
and
persistent.
they're persistent, and we're talking the next vine is at least 20 feet away. And I'd go there and I'd look for the root system, and the root system is way down deep. It's not like it's crawled across the lawn and then all of a sudden made this
Mhm.
dart towards the sun. It was something that's underneath the surface. And just as I was sitting there and thinking about destroying, I was like, God, I need just destroy the sin, bring the
Mhm.
sin to mind, what is going on in my life, because I know that if one sin remains, if I'm not constantly on my knees before you, confessing and asking for forgiveness, if one sin remains, it could easily go
Mhm.
like look like, hey, Michelle's doing everything she should be doing. But underneath the surface, there could easily grow something that all of a sudden pops up that I'm not even aware of. And that could take me down. And that's really what we were seeing with Israel, is that they weren't just they were destroying some things, but they weren't destroying all that God was asking of them. And it was destroying their lives, their spiritual lives. Because we started off today going, yeah, their spiritual lives were a mess, but their economic lives were good. But we need our spiritual lives to be in
Mhm.
order.
And that those sins grow so quickly. And, here in the South, they have something called kudzu, which is more prevalent over like in Mississippi. But that I looked it up, it grows a foot a day. So talk about those vines, and kudzu's a vine also grows a foot a day. So there'll be a car like parked there, and pretty soon, like in a couple of weeks' time, it's covered over with vines. I mean, that
Oh.
sin grows so quickly. And I love that word destroy. And again, like you, I was thinking about how this applies to our lives. And, it's important to nip evil in the bud, like just cut it off
Mhm.
right when it gets started. So we see that Jehoshaphat started to destroy the idolatrous systems, and he got rid of those male temple prostitutes, but he did not destroy the high places. He did not completely nip evil in the bud. He let people worship false gods there. And also, we must resist alliances with evil.
Mm.
Jehoshaphat's alliance with Ahaziah led to disaster. And so we should be cautious about who we align ourselves to and avoid the spread of evil. And there's a difference between, yes, we want to reach out to people who don't know God and, encourage them and serve them and love them, but to associate, to align yourself with them, pretty soon it's easier to get pulled over to the evil things
Mhm.
they're doing than have you pull them over to the good you're doing.
Yep.
And evil spreads easily. Jehoram's influence led Judah to idolatry, and evil can spread if not curtailed. And then finally, we also learn that God's covenant stands. And so, even despite Jehoram's wickedness, God's promise to David endured. So, there's evil that's growing, and we're not nipping it in the bud, and we're allowing it to spread. But God is so faithful. And I'm just so thankful that that's what this whole reading led to, that God's faithfulness, even in the face of spreading evil. Because sometimes we can look around at our world and go, man, evil is just growing so quickly, but we can know that God is there and he can take care of us.
Well, and seeing that there is a plan, like he has a plan, a total
Mhm.
plan that unfortunately evil is happening. Evil happened back then. But God had this plan in mind, and it was a perfect plan, and everything was going to come to fruition, and everything will come to fruition in His perfect time to give Him the maximum glory. And he's even working in that evil. And that's what we're seeing here. He's even working in the ugliness, in the drama, and in the nastiness. When people don't destroy what they're
Yep.
supposed to destroy, he's still working.
Yeah.
Trisha, can you pray for us today that we would just be diligent at destroying what we need to destroy?
Yes. Dear God, we just come to you, Lord. And first of all, we thank you that, you have shown us what is evil and what is good.
Mm,
You have made it clear. You've given us your word. In these days, we're reading about they had prophets that would come and declare it, Lord. And, people would have to wait to hear what the prophet had to say. Lord, we have your word that
mm,
tells us what is good and what is evil, Lord. And I pray that as we read your word, it will be clear what we need to destroy. And, that will mean asking you to come in and clean house, Lord. Also, it'll mean when we feel those temptations to, you know, move our mind somewhere else, move our mind to you, turn our back on the things that we used to indulge in, and instead seek you, Lord. I pray that you will help us to destroy all those roots of evil in our hearts so that we may wholeheartedly serve
mm,
you, Lord. I thank you that we can trust you with our lives and that you have a good plan for us. And may you receive the glory. In your name we
mhm.
pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, we are sending you off with some daily encouragement to get into the word and be the hands and feet of Jesus. Again, if you don't have the 1 year chronological Bible that we are using, we have links to that Bible in our show notes, and you can even find it in the Kindle format. Also, in the show notes is a monthly and yearly schedule of the Bible reading plan that we are following. Okay, so tomorrow we are reading 2 Kings 2 and 2 Kings 4. That's all, just two
Just two
chapters.
chapters.
I want to take a second here to thank the team at Life Audio. You would not be listening to Daily Bible Podcast without their partnership. Go to lifeaudio.com and you're going to find other great podcasts that are going to encourage you in your walk with God today.
And we will see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.